Welcome to the Estate Professionals Mastermind Podcast, a podcast for estate professionals who earn more, work less, and make a huge difference in their communities. If you get value out of this free content, be sure to check out probatemastery.com, where you can get live classes, access to weekly coaching, and valuable courses. To learn more, visit probatemastery.com. Now let's jump into this week's content.
Hey, welcome to our Tuesday Probate Mastery free weekly coaching call. I'm Bill Gross. I am a real estate broker, a practitioner based out of Los Angeles, California, with an actually nationwide growing team of real estate agents focused on probate real estate. And the purpose of this call is I'm a practitioner. I'm in this every day looking for new listings. I just made a couple of calls this morning to attorneys and petitioners. I email and work with them all the time on those leads. And I work every day on listing more property to sell as a broker in real estate. This is my primary business. I'm not selling coaching and I'm not selling data or any kind of systems. I'm along here with you. I'm in the next foxhole over doing my business and trying to help you, or available to help you build your business. So this is part of the Probate Mastery program, which is a program that has a number of different ways to help you build your business in real estate sales, focus on probate as well. There's some free content I want to point out on the front of the page. Probatemastery.com is the website. There's a couple of mini courses, the probate opportunity, probate marketing, and probate prospecting, all worth your time taking. And then the next step, in addition to the free content, if you want to get certified, is rolling in probate masteries. Of course, I've taken and paid for, I want to say 3 times for sure, 2. One with the prior owner, one with this one, and with this company, and then one just with the current proprietor. So definitely I think it's important to learn. I would say my secret weapon is my knowledge of the probate process, both in terms of helping customers and helping design my business. Now, at the top of the page, a couple other things to point out is the free weekly coaching call. If you're watching this on replay, we do have this on YouTube and Facebook and such, but you can click on it and sign up and get notified when we go live and jump in on the Zoom. And the purpose of the Zoom is to participate. So I'd love to have you guys ask questions when the time's right. And then we have a free Facebook community. You can continue the conversation on the Facebook community that is titled Estate Professional Mastermind. We have 7,600 members, and you can ask questions there about the program or about probate real estate in general. Separately, I have a program, probateweekly.com. It's a weekly interview-focused podcast. Sign up at www.probateweekly.com. Put your email address in. You'll get notified when we launch that. We do that every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Scroll down, you can see it on your favorite audio formats or past episodes. And I simply have my own Facebook group, Probate Weekly on Facebook, at 300 members, and feel free to jump in there and ask questions as well, or post your probate-related content or estate planning-related content. Love to share with agents and attorneys and vendors across the country. Lastly, my name is Bill Gross. You can get me on linktr.ee/Bill Gross. Has all the information and all the stuff that I'm working on if you're interested in more. But again, this call is really about you. It's meant to be participative. It's meant to be, we're all working together. So share your victories, your losses, where you're stuck, what you're working on, questions. And there's no question that's below this call. And I'd love to help you if I can. Reen is seconding my motion on Dry Bar Comedy. Fascinating story of the proprietors of Dry Bar Comedy. I don't know if you followed them. They were interviewed on a couple of different podcasts and learned the kind of the backstory, but they really wanted certain kind of content and couldn't find it, and got stopped and then launched Dry Bar Comedy. And it's a huge financial success. And they have some movies. They did The Sound of Freedom, the same guys. And they have another one now out about adopting children. Amazing stories. So definitely, but Dry Bar Comedy is hysterical. It's on YouTube. Definitely worth watching if you're looking for some comedy. Hey, if you have a YouTube channel that you like to watch that's comedy and clean, put it in the chat box. Love to see it. I'm always looking for more content. And if you have a particularly good podcast that you want to mention as well, feel free to put it there. And then also put your own content, your own connection information. If people want to reach out to you, we want to create a referral network across the country of like-minded real estate agents who can share business together. So. Okay, so Reen, I know you got a lot going on your YouTube channel and your marketing. What's going on in your end of the world that you can share with us?
Hey, thanks, Bill. It's funny because I know when you and I talked a while back, you were talking about increasing my probate content, and it's so ironic because now that I'm increasing my probate content, I'm starting to pick up listings from my sphere of influence, right? So,
Imagine that.
so that's not what I set out to do, but it's
Imagine
happening.
that.
Yeah, yeah. And so I just keep putting the probate content out there. One of the things I would mention when I say putting it out there, I have a group called Probate Help Desk on Facebook,
I
and
love
then
it. Can I
thank
just say I
you.
love the probate help desk? You get some great questions from consumers.
Yeah, when we set it up, the goal was really to have a forum where we could share advice with personal representatives and families who are going through probate.
Yeah.
And like you, we open it up to other real estate agents who just want to learn more about probate and do a better job in the industry, and attorneys, and there are a few vendors in there, and we get some really good engaging conversations. And if you're an agent that just wants to learn more about what families are going through, I highly encourage you to join because we come across some people that have some really challenging issues, and just little things like someone's living in a house for 30 years and they never transferred the title into their name and the parent didn't have a will, and now siblings pop up and want their half of the house after the parent dies. And
It's amazing. It's a private group, so you have to, sign and be invited or asked to be approved. And he only has, it's interesting, only 280 members. But as a member, I see so many good questions from petitioners and people who need help all across the country. I mean,
hmm
personally, I'm more working with attorneys than I am with petitioners. But if I was starting back out like I was 5 years ago, I would be all over this site. I'd be contributing to it as well as answering questions and helping people out, not just fishing for referrals, but trying to help people. So it's a Facebook group called Probate Help Desk, and feel free to join. Or it's up to it's Reen's group, so I'll let him make those decisions. But
we welcome. I do. The only reason why it's a private group, Bill, is because it is probate, and some of the families prefer confidentiality.
yeah,
And so I do a lot of screening to make sure that we keep the bots and some of the scammers out. I reject a lot of people who apply, but not because they're agents or anything else, mostly just because they're fake profiles and that kind of thing. So anybody in this group that wants to join, I welcome it, and participation is welcome as well.
would you like me to put the link in the chat box with the help?
I will do. Yes.
Put it in there. There you go. So
Thank
again,
you.
subject to his approval. It's his group. And I think two things I would say to all of you is one, it doesn't take that much to start generating leads, and more than that, content. Because these are all questions that literally Reen could, even if it's in a state he'll never do business in, when agents say, well, what do I make my videos about? Well, just read the question and answer the question as best you can. And if you don't have the answer, find somebody who has the answer and video the question and their answer. It's not really complicated. And so I would encourage all of you guys to join that. I think it's fantastic. Reen, thanks for sharing that with us.
Add one more thing, Bill.
Yeah.
When you talk about content in the group, so now what we're doing is I'm doing a weekly summary, and that weekly summary is providing me content for my YouTube shorts and my other content as well. So it just kind of snowballs once you get the content machine rolling.
I think if I could rephrase what you're saying is once you find your voice, it's much easier to talk. Right? You really honed in your voice. And I think it just gets easier and easier. I know for me, I tell people all the time, you could wake me up at 3 in the morning. If I could wash my face, I could talk about probate for an hour, go back to sleep, wake up at 6 and do it all over again. Because I found my voice in that topic. And some people appreciate it. Well, good. Well, thanks so much for sharing that, Reen. And again, it's a Facebook group called Probate Help Desk. And again, I think the purpose of these calls is for us to work together to leverage your investment in probate mastery by working together with other agents around the country. So I'd love to help you guys do that. Um, okay. Frankie says, I've begun my probate classes for certification. I don't know if you want to jump in, Frankie, and share with us a little bit about your experience so far, because we have, I'm sure, other people who are also, starting their process and probably about where you are. If you want to unmute and come in and share with us, love to hear what your experience is so far.
Hello. Yeah, I'm like at the very, very beginning
Hmm.
stage of it. So I'm actually just wrapping up lesson number 10, getting ready to take the first quiz. So it's a wealth of information so far, and I really like the Q&A that he has at the end of it. I'm actually going to listen to that replay again, but I'm glad that I have access to the replay and looking forward to the live sessions that'll be available here coming up. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Great.
Really,
Frankie, where do you sell real estate?
I'm in Columbus, Ohio.
Ohio.
OH.
I learned that I went to USC in the Rose Bowl. We beat Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, but I noticed they do that a lot. So I learned that
Yeah,
as they were, even they're losing, they still did it. So I got to give them credit. I'm sorry. Um,
die hard.
are you a new agent, experienced agent?
I've been licensed since 2013. So I am part-time right now. My goal is to get go back full-time here soon. And I do want to specialize in I have my license or my certification in the senior market, senior
Hmm.
real estate specialist.
Hmm.
And now I want to get my certification for probate so I can that's the area that I want to go is working with senior citizens and in probate.
Can I give you two little pieces of coaching with mindset?
I'm sorry.
Can I give you a little bit of coaching regarding mindset?
Please, yes.
First off, I would focus not on the certifications, though they're nice to have and they're great to have, but more about the education, what you're learning as you're taking the certification classes. The
Understood.
education is 100 times more valuable than the certification. And there are people who I think hide behind their certificates because they don't want to claim what they've learned. And I would challenge you to claim what you've learned by, if you're a realtor now, sharing what you're learning along the way. You don't need to wait till you're certified to share good information with your friends, family, clients, prospects, whoever you know and like. And so use your time in the course. That is some great content to share. Don't wait till you're certified and know the material. You know what you learned yesterday. You took 10 classes, 10 little short pieces so far. There's 10 tidbits in there. There's probably 20 tidbits you could talk about. And so I would try to every day post something that you'll learn and share it. And what will happen is you'll generate some business before you're even certified. Would that be a problem for you?
No, it would not. And that
Okay,
makes a sense. I
good.
see, and he just posted he's from Zanesville. I actually might have to write his information down because my stepmother, she's trying to, well, she passed away, God bless her soul, but she's actually trying, the family is actually trying to probate her home. So
There you go.
I, I'm gonna have to write his information down here. So
Everybody here should put your contact info in. And the second piece of coaching is, it's not that you're part-time, is you don't yet have enough listings. Because when you have enough listings, you'll be working at it full-time.
that makes sense.
Pretty much every financial problem you have in the world is because you don't have enough listings. I'll give you an
I
example. Somebody's car breaks down. No, that meant they didn't have enough listings. Don't have money to go on vacation. You didn't have enough listings. Don't have time off for vacation. Don't have enough listings. It all gets down to if you just list more property, it's kind of like the elixir. It just solves all your problems. Okay? So we'll work on
yes,
that. Okay, Frank. Good. We'll come back, report to us as you progress on this. Let us know how you're doing. Okay. But
I
definitely
will.
post. I think you should post something every single day about the class. It's going to leverage you spent money on the class. Why not get the full value of it? In fact, I would say this to Bruce, it should be a requirement. You have to promise to post something every day of what you learn. You don't have to say I'm new. You don't have to say that I'm learning to get certified. Just,
Just
for
post.
example, give me something you learned in the class so far. Just one little tidbit.
Um, I have a goal to go down to the probate court next week
Mhm.
and I'm gonna meet the staff, learn a little bit about probate. And the attorneys that I know so far, I'm going to start making phone calls.
Well, how about this for a post? I'm expanding my business to add more probate services to my customers. Next week, I'm going to county probate court, which is at blank blank city on blank blank boulevard. I'm going to go there probably at 9 o'clock. If you want to join me, I'll buy a cup of coffee. And if not, stay tuned to this channel. I'll give you what I find there and share it with you.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Okay. I have a hard time sometimes coming up with content, but that makes sense. I just
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
use,
whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Don't say I have a hard time because that's making an affirmation out of it. Right. All that means is you haven't yet found your voice. I have a feeling, Frankie, probably because you're a woman, once you find what you want to talk about, it's hard to shut you up.
it is.
Now I can say that I'm married. Okay. So my wife can't hear me. She's in the other room. But That's all of us. That's not, I like to tease about women and wives, but the truth is that's all of us. When we find what we want to talk about, we won't shut up about it. Right.
Very true.
And so you need to focus in on that. And that's what you want to learn about. Okay. Frankie, thanks so much for sharing with us.
Thank you for that tidbit and the encouragement.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Come back next week and share with us your progress. Stephen Hughes, great friend of the program. Let's get you unmuted. That's always dangerous. And bring you in. What's going on, man?
Hey, I just wanted to hop on and say thanks for, I think it was a week or two ago, you mentioned the Full Circle Aftercare.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke with them. Their main office is only 15 minutes down the road from me. They're based out of Utah.
Exactly. I knew that too. I didn't mention that to you, but I knew that they're nearby.
Yeah, so
and I think and I also think more than that, aligned value wise, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, it fills some holes for some of the non-legal probate services I've wanted to offer.
Yeah.
So I have a meeting with kind of their marketing director, but then I'm supposed to meet hopefully the owner next week in person as well. So that was really nice. And I'll tell you, when they told me how many Utah families they were servicing, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't have someone who has some of these services you offer." I was very surprised at the number of people they say that they have on average in Utah.
I think we all can benefit from coordinating with other people more. And it's just hard to do. We're entrepreneurs. Our nature is to do everything on our own. And we take some time to find somebody who's aligned with us. There's a great opportunity. So good luck with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. Well, thanks. I had them on my podcast again a couple weeks ago. They're a great resource, Full Circle Aftercare. In fact, I think I'll post the episode. If you guys want to learn more about Full Circle Aftercare, I will put it in my the chat box. There we go. Just 1 second. Full Circle Aftercare. And it's a service that is for, I think I would say a lot of the non-real estate and legal services that families need. And so particularly those who are focused either in the health side of it or the senior service side, it's a great vendor to look into, seeing if you can help. Okay, Jenny Manning has her hand up. Let's see if we can get you unmuted, Jenny, and maybe you get your video started if you're available. And how can we help you?
Well, okay. What's the difference, or if you wanted to have a group like you have, or the gentleman that talked about the probate help desk, what kind of page is that?
So my group, Probate Weekly, and Reen's group, Probate Help Desk, are Facebook groups, not pages.
Okay.
Separate. Facebook is one of those things where they go all in on one thing, and the next a week or a month or 10 years later, they just U-turn and go in another direction. And there was a time that pages was a big deal. I do think you have to have a page. The bad news of pages, I've learned, is I have like my own personal Facebook page, and I have my business Facebook page. My business Facebook page is just inundated with spam. I just gave up on it. It's just too much. The groups, you can have different rules on how you let people in. You ask people to answer questions. But Facebook groups is what we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where do you go to even start that?
Well, I'm sure there's a YouTube video on how to do a Facebook group, which seems counterintuitive, but that's where I'd start. I don't remember how I did it. I've had it for quite a while. But I imagine you had Facebook groups and one start your own group or add a group.
I'm sitting here on it trying to figure it out, and I'm not seeing any button that says start a page or a group.
Not page, under groups.
Yeah.
Actually, when I just because I'm now deep into this question, so let me just share with you what I did. Let's see if you guys can see Facebook groups, and then your groups, and then create a new group.
Okay. I'm still not seeing that.
That's too. On
Sorry.
Facebook, and then just choose groups, and then create your own group. Okay. Look at you, got four different books.
6.
Oh, you have a picture with 4 of them. Wow.
Six,
Are
six.
you an
What?
author more than a realtor? Or you do both, or you use the books to build your real estate business, or what's your?
I use the books to build the business.
Wow. And where do you sell real estate?
DFW area, North Texas.
Oh, very nice. Very
Mhm.
nice. If you went offline, maybe I can walk you through the process, but we want to kind of keep us moving a little bit. So Jenny, thank you so much. Okay, a couple questions in the chat box I saw. Where is his market from Zoom user? Don't know which one. Reen is in Minnesota, and Stephen is in Utah, southern Utah, which I think is like St. George's area, if I remember right. Lynn asks, is it better to have a YouTube, LinkedIn, or podcast? Good question. Or you can do all at once. I use a product called StreamYard that allows me to record and then broadcast to multiple places or simultaneously live stream to multiple places. So I'll put the link in for StreamYard. It's an affiliate link. So you get some credit and I get some credit if you go to the there's a free version and then a paid version. I'll put the link in the chat box for everybody. So that's how I do multiple. Now I started just in Facebook and then moved to YouTube. I will say personally, my focus is YouTube content. You have to think about your business and where your audience is, and then tailor your content to that, or have content that fits. Because each channel has a different feel. LinkedIn to me is much more business to business oriented. YouTube is much more education. But YouTube also rewards good content by helping you find more people more easily. So different positives and negatives. And then once you have the content, I repurpose it. There's another product we use. What is the name of it? It was Spotify for podcasters, where you upload, when StreamYard, you can upload the audio piece and then they multiply it to different channels as well as the video to multiple channels. So I'm on Spotify and Apple and all those. I just do the content piece once, and with the technology, you can repurpose it into multiple locations. Okay. Okay, that's all the questions I had. I think I'm all caught up. Questions going forward. Who has a question, comment, victory, loss? How can I help you guys? Anybody? Bueller? No? Oh, there we go. Monique. Let's get you unmuted and maybe get your camera rolling if we can. Monique, how can we help you?
Great afternoon. So I was going through the program, and I am trying to put together. Oh, you keep asking me to put my video on. I don't really want to put my video on right now.
All right.
But yeah, I was going through the program, and I'm wanting to put together like my marketing, to the attorney with the attorney marketing that Chad mentioned, as well as like the checklist or the marketing piece to also send to the PRs. I kind of stopped making calls now because I need to put in a system, a follow-up system, which that's another thing that I'm trying to work on as well. But my question is there somewhere in the program that has like examples of what the marketing piece will look like that we're sending to the PRs as well as to the attorneys?
You know, I'm not involved in that piece of the program, so I don't know the answer.
Okay.
I know that the company that Chad used to work for, all the leads, sells data. They have a mailing service, and they have letter templates, and they have brochure templates put together. I use the letters once, don't do it personally, and I do use their brochure, their trifold brochure, just the standard version of it, and it works for me. But I don't do any direct personally. I don't do any direct mail or direct calling. So I can't really answer the question. Anybody on the call who is doing direct mail who wants to share what you're using, love to hear from you. But I don't personally, so I rather not talk about something I can't really help you with. I don't want to pitch something that's somebody's product to just get paid. That's not my business. So I don't mean to avoid your question. It's just I really can't answer it for you. I'm sorry.
No, I understand.
Hey, Bill, I was going to raise my hand, but I couldn't figure out how to do it.
Okay.
I have used the letters from all the leads there. They're good. They're good letters. The challenge I run into in my market is the letters are so good that almost everybody in my market uses them. Right. So and then I also have used a version where I just differentiated and started to find my own voice, kind of like you talked about, Bill. And in those letters, I really focus on the fact that I've been a personal representative and that I can work with cash buyers as well as put the house on the market, because almost everybody in my market either is a cash buyer who wants to buy the house or they're a realtor who wants to list the house. And so I'm one of the only people out there in my market that offers to do both simultaneously. That's kind of my unique selling proposition. But there's really what I've seen, even from the letters I've received when I was personal representative, I think the key is just to be sincere and show some empathy and make sure the letter's in your own voice. I think if you do those three things, it helps. And then don't expect a huge response, but when you're first starting out, you can generate some response from those for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think in general, Monique, the most direct mail people will tell you that you should get maybe a 1%, or maybe 1.5% response rate, which might mean calling you or clicking on something. And that's been true for most mail that I've done. And the challenge there is if you're going to get 100 leads, that's $100 to get one call. And then, but then they'll say, we'll do it for 6 months. Now it's 600 for those 100 to get maybe 6 calls. And so the numbers it starts to get expensive. So you have to make sure you have a realistic budget and that you're tracking your numbers, right? If you're not getting a 1% return, then you need to adjust. If you're getting a 5% return, then adjust accordingly. So you have to really count your numbers, make sure you get the value. I just tell you personally, as a business person, I count my numbers all the time on everything I do. My subscriptions and my views and my everything I'm doing, I track weekly the numbers. I have a virtual assistant who adds all that, and I review it with my team. And like I had made a lot of effort over the last 5 years building some meetup groups. I had several thousand people in my meetups. I'm actually turning them over to a colleague because it's not worth my time anymore. When I look at the numbers, I'm not getting the return for the investment. I'm taking that money and put it somewhere else. And so, money is kind of like ammunition to a soldier. You want your money to, kill the bad guys or protect the good guys. And so be careful that you really watch it really carefully, and don't just take the salesperson's answer for what kind of results you'll get. You need to track your own and make sure it stays on that track. Hope that helps a little bit. Okay, a couple questions in the chat, but does that help a little bit? Well, I'll shoot. Monique?
Yeah, somewhat. It wasn't so much the sample letters because I know that's in the program. But it was more so like the marketing piece that he talked about with the when you're trying to build like relationships with the attorneys as well. So that's what I was referencing between that, but as well as like the checklist, because I'm not stopping. I actually enjoy making the calls. I feel like that's more effective when you actually speak with them directly as opposed to sending mailers. I'm trying to put together a system. So that's why I kind of put my calls on hold, because I feel like I was calling, but my follow-up system was not really in place. So it was kind of counterproductive. So I was just asking in terms of like the checklist or what that would look like or what it would entail in terms of connecting with the PR as well as on the attorney side with building that relationship and creating that pamphlet when you're approaching them to market on their behalf, which is what he was talking about.
I will say I contract with all the leads to do my trifoil brochure, and I put a link in the chat box with what they created for me, and I use them to print it, and I'm really happy with it. I haven't changed it. It's been 5 years, and it's good enough. It works for me, and I keep some in my coat pocket when I go to events and meet attorneys and such. So hopefully it helps.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Sure. ZoomU says what market? I'm not sure what that means. Market. So I'm not sure who you're asking about, Zoom user. I know, is that Roger? I think it's Roger. Um, I know Stephen Hughes popped in. He's in South Utah, I think St. George's area. And we had Reen, who is in Minnesota. I'm not sure if he's in Minneapolis or St. Paul, or I'm not even sure if they're separate cities or they're one city and it blends together. I don't even know to the Twin Cities. But anyhow, I know he's in the state somewhere of Minnesota. Reen, what city are you in?
I'm in a suburb of Minneapolis, but we cover the entire metro and outstate as well. We'll help any family anywhere.
And are you a Vikings fan?
People are going to be really. I was growing up, but I also lived in Milwaukee for a while, and I am a Packer fan, and so
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Can
a
you
lot of
live
people,
in Minneapolis
no.
suburbs and be a Packer fan? Is that allowed?
Other than my family, I don't admit it to any. I don't admit it to anyone around here. No, it's not allowed.
Okay. Okay.
It's
Be
not
careful.
allowed.
That's a tough rivalry area. I know that I've never been to
Yeah.
Minnesota, but I do know I follow his education, who's a podcaster up in there. We have really kind of some funny stuff. So, okay. I see Crystal, you got your hand up. Let's get you in here and get you unmuted. How can we help you, Crystal?
Thank you. If you didn't have the social media aspect of probate, interviewing attorneys, being able to build that relationship without social media, do you have a second tool or real piece of value that you would use to build relationships with the attorneys?
Great question. Crystal, where do you sell real estate?
I've been a real estate agent here in Southern California for over 20 years.
Wow, what part?
I'm located in Rancho Cucamonga.
Rancho Cucamonga. I used to work in Diamond Bar for years, 15 years in Diamond Bar. No, Rancho. I used to finance new homes construction in Rancho Cucamonga. So you've been a real estate agent for 20 years?
I have.
You know, I know this is the answer you want to hear. This is for you, right? Not for somebody else?
This is for me.
This is not the answer you're going to hear, but I only get paid to tell the truth. Can I tell you the truth?
Please.
I would start with the people that you already know. You've been in business 20 years. You know hundreds of consumers, hundreds of people been to open houses, hundreds of sellers who didn't list with you, buyers who didn't buy with you, many who did, many who should have, their vendors, their lenders, their title reps, all the escrow officers you ever worked with, all of them. I would start with those people. And I would share with them as you learn about the process of probate real estate. I assume if you've been in business that long that you're smart, you've learned enough about the business, you're smarter than the average consumer, that you have value to create to them. And I would share with them the information that you learn with as many as you can. Social media is just a tool. It's no different than opening a toolbox. There's hammers, there's screwdrivers, there's pliers. Full disclosure, I haven't used any of the tools. I use them as analogies. But all the social medias, think of them as tools. You have your phone, you have mail, you have business cards, you have brochures, you have Facebook, you have email, you have YouTube. They're all just different tools. And I would urge you to share with the people you first know. And you have clients who have estate plans with attorneys that you'd love to meet, that they'd be glad to make the introduction if they know that's what you're working on. You've probably sold houses to people where you knew the husband was a contractor and you didn't know that the wife, maybe she was a paralegal. You didn't notice that name. You thought she said she was an administrator and she's a paralegal at a probate firm. And the reason you don't know that is because you're not communicating with them on this topic. And I'm going to tell you, the easiest way for you to build a great business is to share good probate and avoiding probate, i.e. estate planning information, with everybody that you know, like, and trust. You have way more than enough people than you'll ever need. Now, how do you do it? So your business now, what tools do you use now to communicate with your database? Answer, not enough. Okay, but what do you do now?
I do feel like I started coaching 5 years ago. So up until 5 years ago, my business was extremely passive. And 5 years ago, I started prospecting and actually picking up the phone and speaking to my database.
Wow. Talking to people that know, like, and trust you. Wow. What a concept.
So I think that's a great concept is actually, my next, most of my database is on like a 3-month follow-up. So I talk to them on the dot every 3 months. I don't talk to them about probate. So I appreciate that piece of advice to, talk to them about probate.
I would make sure that as you talk to them also, you have their email address. I think
so I already send a once a week email to my database every week. So they get 52 emails from me.
Right. Make one about probate. Make one about avoiding probate.
Okay.
You'd be surprised. People go, "That's so funny. My aunt just died. I don't know what to do. Help."
Right.
Just by focusing on the topic, you'll find. And then I think just putting into your phone conversations that the information. Look, that's what I did. I started 5.5 years ago. I had been in the business since 1986. I imagine before you were born, and relaunched my career in 2019 March 1st. I had been in management and coaching and had to go back to production full time. Wanted to, didn't want to work for anybody anymore. Wanted to go back to business, but I had no past clients. I had no leads, but I had a Rolodex of people I knew socially. I had, I think, 700, 600 people I knew that I'd been emailing to about real estate. And I took Chad, at that time, Chad was a teacher of Probate Mastery, and he mentioned call your past client database. And I start with the A's. I only got to the D's. And I'll be honest with you, Crystal, I've never gone back. I got to D's and got enough business where with social media and emailing and people calling me, I've never continued on the E's onward as far as making outbound calls. And I'm not bragging about it. I'm a little older than you, and I've had some other successes that leveraged my business, maybe. But I'm just going to say I never had to go back and make those phone calls because I built relationships, and those relationships started to generate business for me.
Okay.
Okay. Hope that helps.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing your story. Question from Richard was, is all the leads still active? The answer is yes, as of last week, unless there's something I don't know about. Chad left all the leads years ago and formed Probate Mastery. And then Chad sold Probate Mastery to Bruce Hill. Bruce, the owner of Probate Mastery, is still a coach and a partner of some sort. I don't know the real relationship, but partner in the sense of content partner, partner in the sense of working together with all the leads. And I know on their call every week, he's one of the featured coaches and coaches on there as well. So yes, as far as I know, all leads are still active. Chad has left the business, sold Probate Mastery, and as far as I know, he's just touring the United States in his mobile home, apparently just eating barbecue in 50 states, I think is his goal, as far as I can tell. I don't really know. Okay, let's see. I think that Zoom user, but I believe that's really Roger hiding behind that name. Let's get you unmuted, Roger. And no, we get you unmuted. I see your finger or something there. And go Razorbacks. There you go. Nope, still muted. I'll tell you what, I'm going to let you work on that and come back in when you just give me a heads up when you're unmuted and we'll take it from there. Okay. Okay. Did I catch all the questions? I think so. Okay. Well, we're waiting. Anybody else have questions, comments, challenges, problems? What's your biggest challenge or biggest problem that we can work on together?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go.
First time that I've heard you say that a lot of the stuff from all the leads really is not necessary because you've been in the real estate business so long. I was aghast, but I have come to realize you're absolutely right. It is a basic discussion from people that you know, and the lady that just left with been in the real estate 20 years, she has ample opportunities to discuss other things that she can do, because what we do in this transitional real estate niche is really a lot more than just sell the house. We're helping the family with transitions from one stage of life to another, which could be grandma moving into a nursing home, and something's got to be done with the personal property, what's going on with the cars, what's going on with everything else that's in that. and that just comes from a conversation with your with your sphere and staying in touch with them during the and one of the things that I've done for the last 5 years, it's really helped my business down the road all the way and it gives me word of mouth referrals, is every October, middle October, I hire somebody and I have a great recipe for pumpkin bread, and I give everybody pumpkin bread before November so that they can put it in the freezer and bring it out during Thanksgiving. And that's one of those things that that I find is absolutely expected when they say, "Are you doing pumpkin bread this year?" And I'll just sit there, "Yes, I am." I also find delivering American flags during 4th of July, Memorial Day, something along those lines, and putting it in their yard and just handing it to them, just to stay in touch with that sphere of influence. And I hate that term. I call them sphere of friends that have done and trust me in the business. And so that's been far better than I like doing that better than making phone calls. Let me say it that way. I do phone calls, but the phone calls is just the start of a relationship, and they don't know me, they don't trust me, they don't know who I am. I'm just another phone call to that they have to answer, just another solicitor trying to help them. And I try to knock those barriers down by just connecting with the situation that brought them to the list that I get from all the leads. So she's been in the business 20 years, and I'm really inspired by how you coached her to the point of you already know who you need to speak to, because they have a lot of other opportunities for real estate other than just a transitional period in someone's life that they know, including their own. So thank you very much. Great job, Bill. Thank you.
Thanks, Roger. Thanks. We'll categorize this segment as the Bill Was Right segment, which is my favorite segment of every call I ever make. I don't get to have that segment with my wife because I'm married. That's just not how it works. But no, I think to your point, Roger, and to Crystal's also, you watched when she talked about making her phone calls, and maybe I'm reading into it, but she spoke about it with some pleasure, right? You see people talk about phone calling and they're miserable. You feel their body just seize up. They're in pain when they talk about it. And when you saw Crystal talk, you saw how she spoke with pride. She had been in coaching and she made phone calls, and and good for her. I mean, I think we all have to do things we enjoy. And whatever marketing is should be authentic to you. And if you're going to do it over time, you better enjoy that process. Now, there was a time when I was the same way. I used to make phone calls every day. I came through the Mike Ferry system, and I made phone calls every morning for 4 hours a day. And I loved it. My whole day was set up to make that work. Later, when I started probate, my prospecting strategy was 4 hours a day going to court. I put on a suit and tie. I drove to LA County Court. I was there for about 3 hours, and then I left, and it was a 4-hour segment. And I loved it. And I did that until COVID made it not as economical for my time. And then I moved from there to social media. And I spend about 4 hours a day now interviewing people, recording content, researching content, and doing that. And I love that. Now, what I love today, because this works for me, is I can do social media from my home, which means I get exercise every day, which I love. And my grandkids around. It turns out my younger grandson's sleeping in the room. He's gonna wake up around the time this call ends. I got to go hold him. If I was in court or if I was at some office, I couldn't do that. So that works for me. Here's the key. Whatever prospecting you do, you have to generate results. You have to be authentic. It has to be something that you're talking about that is real for you, that you value. If you hate calling, if you think cold calling is bad, you can't do it. And if you do enjoy talking to people, particularly database, then do it. And if you enjoy it, I call people all day long too. I just don't prospect that way. I've done it already for a while. So you have to find something that you're good at, creates the results, and that's authentic to how you're doing it, whether that be phone calling or mailing. There are people who love direct mail. I remember a TV show years ago, LA Law, and one of the female attorneys was dating a guy who was a direct mail expert, and the character loved direct mail. He knew all the details of direct mail. Good for him if you enjoy it. I don't think anything wrong with it. It's just not my juice. So again, I think, and again, I saw Crystal, she lit up when she talked about making phone calls. Most people don't do that. So thank you, Roger, for pointing that out. Okay, we still have a few minutes left. My grandson hasn't woken up yet, so you guys have some time left. It's pathetic. Can I just admit, I'm just that pathetic grandfather who, if you're near me, I show you the photos of my grandkids, and my whole life is scheduled around playing with them. But anybody else have any questions I haven't got to yet? No? No? Okay. Last chance. Victories? Well, that said, let me just take a quick run back through our program. And then if we don't have any questions after that, we'll let it go. This is the official weekly coaching call for Probate Mastery at probatemastery.com. Go to probatemastery.com. And if you go to the middle, free weekly coaching, you can sign up if you're getting this on a replay or from somebody else. Just put your name, email, and phone number in, and you'll get reminded when we go live on Zoom and replays on Facebook and YouTube and such. You're welcome to come back and see it another time. And then we have a Facebook community. You can continue the conversation. If you're watching this and we didn't answer your question or you didn't get asked, go to the Facebook group, which is the State Professionals Mastermind. We have 7,600 members nationwide. Put your questions in there, and you also get updates about the program if you're looking for information about how to get involved with Probate Mastery. There's 3 mini courses on the top page. I recommend you start with the free content. My strategy with all coaches and consultants is you better learn from something for free that you think is valuable enough to pay for. In fact, I look at paying as a way to thank somebody for something I've learned already. So for me, learning the probate opportunity, their marketing and prospect was enough to get me to decide I wanted to do the certification, not to be certified, but because I wanted to learn more. And if you want to get certified, you scroll down here, enroll in Probate Mastery, and we'll have all the details for you as far as it's $3.99 and has all the details of how that program works. There's live and on-demand versions as well. Separately, I have probateweekly.com. It's an interview format. I do every Thursday, 4 p.m. live streamed, but it's also recorded. You can watch that. I interview attorneys mostly, vendors. This week will be a top probate real estate agent, friend of mine, Randy Millmeister from Las Vegas, Nevada, sharing how he built his business. But generally, it's referrals from attorneys and referral sources. Sign up there at probateweekly.com. Scroll down if you want to see it in audio formats or past episodes. And I have my Facebook group, Probate Weekly, in Facebook. I have 3,900 members. Help me get to 4,000. Also, you can post questions there, post any of your own probate content. There's Reen supporting his program there and other people as well. Executive Term is a great referral source. And Probate Help Desk is there. So feel free to learn and research and continue. And then my name is Bill Gross. My link tree, linktr.ee/Bill Gross. And you can get all my social media and contacts and programs I'm working on, and we'll have it all right there. So again, we do this call every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. And I think that's it. I don't see any hands up. I don't see more questions in the box. Feel free to put your contact info. I don't know why you guys all didn't do that. Name, address, phone number, email, what cities you service, what state you service. I know for me, I want to get referrals. I get referrals. Part of the reason I do this call, to be honest, is I get referrals. I have one. What's the status of that one? Don't know yet. We're getting relisted, I think, next week. So I get referrals, a couple of referrals a year from doing these kinds of things. And feel free to put your contact info. And I hope you get referrals from this in the areas that you work in as well. If I can help you, please reach out at Bill Gross Probate on social media. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.